Whoa, 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 at the break of the rising dawn, as the night's last shadows are gone, a spark ignites across the sky. Truth comes rolling in high. Hear the drum of the unheard. Feel the power of the word. We rise from dark to light, cut through the lies ignite. Truth breaking through the noise, justice in our voice. From the silence to the fight. This is dawn and justice, let's rise. Across the wire, through the storm, we won't conform, we won't be warned. Every voice, every sign, we draw the waking line. The screens light up, the message clear. No more running, no more fear. From the ashes, from the night, we carry forward burning light. Dark to light, night to dawn. Truth lives on. We press on. We rise from dark to light, cut through the lies ignite. Truth breaking through the noise, justice in our voice. From the silence to the fight, we stand together in the light. This is dawning justice, let's rise. This is dawning justice, let's rise.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dawning Justice, and I am Josh the Justice Cometh, and this is your morning news wrap up, your digs and drop show to get you started early in the morning with our Truther Media schedule. And I see the chats are already lighting up out there, so thank you everyone for joining me. I have been absent for a couple of days because we've been getting ready for our eighth grandbaby, our eighth one. And this is just simply, unbelievable. I would have never thought 20 years ago that we would have, eight grandbabies, um, and five children altogether. So I'm absolutely blessed, and so is Tracy. So excuse my absence for the last couple of days. We had a great fellowship in the Word last night, so thank you, Mimi and Seth, for putting that on last night. We very much appreciate it. We were here at the house, but we were taking care of our other grandchildren while Mom was in the hospital recovering because she had a C-section. So it's very good to be back into the seat. Just a quick program note for Tracing Justice tomorrow. Seth will be hosting Tracing Justice tomorrow because now our son is graduating from high school. So his graduation is right smack dab in the middle of Tracing Justice. So Seth is going to do a full Maha episode tomorrow night. So we're excited. We're excited for that. So please show support for us and Seth and join us tomorrow for Tracing Justice at 8 p.m. All right, so we are broadcasting from Rumble. So if you're one of my Rumblers, make sure you give me that thumbs up over there. And if you could hit that little repost button for me, and that kind of puts my feed out and everybody's kind of I don't know what you call it over there in Rumble. I guess they're live feeds or whatever. So that helps us out so much over there. In my X chat, Marty, are you awake? I see you are awake in the X chat this morning. So thank you for joining us. She is one of our Truther Media team members. She's also our Facebook manager over there. So welcome in. She's always working hard for us over there. But the X chat is already rolling. We're also live on YouTube. So if you could give me that thumbs up on YouTube and give me that, I guess it's a share. Let everybody know, say, hey, Donnie Justice is on YouTube as well now. So we're trying to get a foothold going on over there. And also we're on Facebook. So I see Lana's already over there in Facebook land. So thank you so much for the heart over there. So we're still kind of getting going on those big platforms where we were once banned. So thank you for supporting us over there. And we can't forget about our Pilled family, our Pilled.net. So there's some late risers over there because there's a lot of good nighttime shows on. So especially AJP Army. AJP always has a great show and everybody always stays up late, watching AJP. So they're kind of slow to get up, over here on Pilled.net. But we appreciate everyone over there on our Pilled family. So I've got my notes. I'm going over here right here. I don't want to miss anything. So before we go through the chats and see who's checking in, I do want to let you guys know, in between watching all the grandkids and everything, we have got our Truther Media store up and launched, and we have got a ton of great products for you. So let's check out truthermedia.com. All right, so it's www.truthermedia.com. And what we have added was we've added some quick navigation buttons up here, okay? So if you're like, well, I want to follow Truther Media on X, you can do that. You can see all of our links right there, our Rumble channel, Pilled. And guys, if you're not in our Telegram chat, make sure you're getting in our Telegram chat as well. And Truther Media also has a Substack as well. We'll go over that here in just a little bit. And if you don't want to go all the way down to the bottom of the screen for our channel lineup, you can just push that little purple button right there. And that gives you every one of the Truther Media channels right there, okay? And also, guys, we are loaded with Substacks over here on Truther Media. We have our main Truther Media Substack, and we've got all of our individual Substacks over there as well. You can see right there. And if you want to meet the podcasting team, you can just click that little blue button right there and go through all of our podcasters, and it will take you to the links to follow them. And we also have a cool little button called Truther Media Contributors, okay? So these are our permanent co-hosts that we have in on Truther Media. Courteous Maximus and Signal Over Noise is on that tab, so you might want to follow them. And guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but we write music in Truther Media. Freedom Fire 1776, which is over in our X chat right now, writes a lot of our music. And guess what? Hit that little yellow button right here, the gold button. You can go to our Spotify, you can go to Apple Music, and you can also go to YouTube Music. And we have got some great songs over there for you guys to check out. So I didn't know if everybody knew that or not, But Tracy and Freedom Fire 1776 has really headed up that project. So we are on most of the platforms out there. I know we're on Amazon and all of those places. But let's get to the Truther Media shop, because I really think you guys are going to like this merch that we've got. So you click that little green button that says shop, and it'll take you right to our Truther Media merch. And let's go down and look at some of our shirts first, okay? Because we've got some America's 250 gear, and so these shirts are absolute fire, guys. So right here, you can see the God Bless America shirt, The Spirit Lives On, and Truther Media, Washington, D.C., 1776 through 2026. That's what's on the back of the shirt, okay? But if you come to the front of the shirt right here, you can see Truther Media America 250, 1776 through 2026. So just kind of like a little symbol right there to put on the front of your shirt right there. And they do come in a lot of different colors. So we've got like this military green, that's kind of cool. You can see that right there. And let's see here. What else do we got? We've got a lot of the women's colors out there, the bright colors. We've even got like a forest green shirt. So real good shirt right there. And also we have got, this is my favorite, okay? This is the Save the Republic hat, and we've got it in many, many, many colors. If you like that Trump red, that cranberry color, as you can see right there, it says Save the Republic, 1776 through 2026. And what's kind of cool about this hat is look on the side right here, guys. If I can get it to pull up, give me just 1 second. There we go. You can see that 250 logo right there. So it's actually pretty cool. I do like these hats. Let's go through a couple of the new shirts that I've put on. So we've got the Defend the Truth, America Deserves It shirt right here. As you can see right here, you can see that up close. So this is a proprietary design by Truther Media. And as you can see on the back, we have got our, well, guys, I'm sorry about that. It's a little bit slow to load this morning. So you can see Truther Media, America Deserves the Truth. And we've also got many colors in that with a lot of different sizes on that. And this one, the ladies is going to like, or it's going to really, really, really like. So let's check out this Defend the Truth Truther Media shirt. And look right there, ladies. Tracy absolutely loves this shirt right here. And also on the back of it, you can see Truther Media, America Deserves the Truth right there. But that's the highlight right there. I know my ladies are really, really, really going to like that shirt. And if you want the reverse of this shirt, and you say, I want it on the back, Justice. So we've got our Truther Media right there on the front. But then if you go to the back, well, if it'll pull up, guys, there we go. You can see it's right there on the back as well. And we have got a lot of different colors and a lot of different sizes on that shirt. Some of the shirts, we've got one of the America's 250 shirts right here. It's this guy right here. I mean, it's $44.99, but let me tell you why it's $44.99. It is a premium, heavy quality shirt. And as you can see, there's the Truther Media logo. But right here on the sleeves, it says, you remember that hat that I just showed you that says Save the Republic? It's got it on both sleeves, okay? And then on the back, you've got our God Bless America right there. The Spirit Lives On. So you've got some sleeve action going on that shirt. You've got the back action and you've got the front action. So that shirt is pretty cool. That's kind of why it's a little bit pricey on that. Now, guys, here's another shirt for you. And guys, I know I'm going into this a lot, but this helps keep Truther Media afloat. We don't make a ton of money on this stuff. We make a little bit of money on this stuff, but you guys have been screaming for it, so we finally got you some Truther Media merch. This shirt is cool, guys. The Truther Media, and it's a 1776 shirt right there. As you can see, Truther Media 1776. Truth is a weapon. Now, let me show you the back of this shirt, though. It's pretty cool, guys. And it says, Truther Media, Digital Warfare Unit 1776. I thought that was pretty cool. Tracy come up with that design as well. I like the black shirt, guys, right here. It really, really pops. And as you can see right here, this girl wearing it, and that's Truth or Media 1776. Truth is a weapon. Ladies, guys, I've got a ton of hats on here, but I want to show you this hat, ladies, because this is the first hat I've seen in the movement. You know, you've seen them out there in shops and stuff, but I've seen in the movement. And as you can see right here, it's a Truth or Media open back ponytail opening washed mesh cap. And you can see our Truth or Media logo right there. And if I can ever get it to pull up, guys, see right there, it's got the opening in the back for your ponytail, and not so you don't have to thread it through that real small opening. There is a opening that you can open to put your ponytail through on that. And there's a lot of different colors on that. As you can see, you know, there's the leopard right here. It's got that little leopard print right there. But if you go right here, let's see, rose polka dot. Let's see if this one can pull up right here. So you can see the polka dots right there. And you can also see the pink right there. I mean, guys, there's all kinds of different hats right here for you ladies. So I hope you guys check out those hats. Last thing, or a couple last things I do want to show you. You want a coffee mug, ladies? I got your coffee mug right here too. And it also says Truth or Media on the side of it as well, as you can see right there. And guys, if you want to defend the truth, you can see it right there. We've got to defend the truth with Truth or Media on the other side of it right there. And this is my personal favorite. I love this mug, right? Or, well, it's not a mug. It's a travel mug. As you can see right there, Truth or Media, America deserves the truth. So again, guys, if you want to go check that out, you can go to truthermedia.com and hit the little shop button link right there, or you can just go to www.truthermediashop.com. Okay, guys, let's go through the chat here. All right, so let's go over to my X chat first. So I've got Freedom Fire 1776 checking in saying, hey, Lana Groth, double dipping over there on Facebook as well. So good morning. Purchase Jack, welcome in this morning. Neville, welcome. And like we said, we've got Spammy Girl up early this morning. That's pretty awesome, guys. She must love me, because she don't get up early a lot. So I very much appreciate her being in here. So Tammy Poole checking in over there on X as well. K9 Andrea, I hope that your recovery is going well. Andrea, I know that you're one-armed right now because you've had that surgery on your other arm. So I very, very much hope that the recovery is going well for you over there. And on YouTube, we got Monica Rodriguez checking in. And over on Facebook, we've got Denise also checking in as well, too. And let's see here. My pill poppers are still kind of asleep right now. That's okay. And let's go through my Rumble chat, guys. So we got Nana2112. Now listen, guys, I had this up for a little bit. Let me take this away real quick. Give me just 1 second. All right. So we had this show up yesterday for today, and I was at the hospital yesterday, and Steve texted me and he said, "Hey, dude, are you doing your show?" And I'm like, "No, I'm at the hospital right now, man." And so people were following in going, "When's the show airing?" So now officially this morning, Nana2112 was the first check-in. So thank you, Nana. And Garth97, good morning. Debbie V57 checking in. USAID paid. He is one of our Truth or Media mods over there. So we very much appreciate him checking in. And let's see, Tammy for real, good morning. And Alanita 711 checking in as well. Cardius Maximus, hello, good morning. He is another one of our Truth or Media podcasters and partners over there. So thank you for checking in there. and Canine Andrea, also double dipping over here on Rumble, and American GG checking in. And there's Yeet Force, another one of our Truther Media mods. So welcome in this morning. And gosh, guys, I'm having to scroll down through here. Tense 15 checking in. Signal over noise. Good morning. And thank you so much, Mimi, for doing Fellowship in the Word last night. From what I could catch of it, it was excellent. So thank you so much. R Pierce 17 checking in. And Samantha 321 also coming in. Welcome. Good morning. She said, hello, folks. Good morning. And Major Canadian Patriot, good morning. One of our cruise buddies from over there. And let's see who else we got checking in. Dixie Bell. I got the Ghost Army sleeveless tank. Awesome. Dixie Bell, if you can, post that up to X. Show everyone kind of what it looks like. I'm going to be working on the Tracing Justice shop probably here in the next couple of weeks and trying to put some more merch beside the Ghost Army stuff out there. Tracy's got some really good ideas for that stuff. Let's see. Spammer Girl Q also dipping in over there on Rumble. Julie Donut says, good morning, Patriots, checking in. Mrs. B623, good morning, good morning. And see who else. I'm going to try to pronounce this right. I love my USA. There we go. I got it. Because, guys, sometimes I have to have my readers on because I'm like, what is that? I can't read that. But I got it right. I love my USA. So welcome checking in this morning. So what do we got next on the list, guys? So we've got that done and that done and that done. All right. So, guys, one of our show sponsors is Hunter's Blend Coffee. And guys, we got a lot of coffee drinkers out there that watch me, just not on live, but on the replays as well. So check out Hunter's Blend Coffee, and how you get there is through dawningcoffee.com. And if you're on my Rumble and any of my platforms, in the show description, you'll have a link right there, and you can use the promo code, all in one word, Tracing Justice, for 10% off of your first order. But we also love to hear from Mike and the gang over there at Hunter's Blend Coffee. So we've got a quick clip, and let's take a quick coffee break.
Well, there's a verse in the Bible that says that God calls the things that are not as though they were. When he created the universe, there was nothing. He spoke, and it became. In the New Testament, there's a story of a centurion that came to Jesus. He had a sick daughter. He asked Jesus to heal her. He said, but you don't need to come to my house. Just speak the word and I know she'll be healed. And she was healed. The situation was beyond his ability. With man, this is impossible, but he knew that with God, all things are possible. And what he did was align himself with Jesus Christ. And that made all the difference. And there's things in each one of our lives that are beyond our ability to see through. We don't see a way through. We don't see a way out. We don't see a solution. It's impossible. But with God, all things are possible. And God calls things that are not as though they were. So our job is to align ourselves with God for that situation and watch what he does. Same is true for America. There's things that look impossible, and we can't go to Washington and fix anything. But we can come into alignment with what God has said, what has been prophesied over America. I mean, all our founding documents, our founders, everything was based on the truth of Jesus Christ. The Bible, our Declaration of Independence is all based on God. And there's been prophecies spoken over America from the beginning that the gospel would go across this land and from here to around the world, that we're a shining city on a hill. We're the last great hope of freedom for this world. And our job is to come into alignment with what God has said and then watch what he does. Now, he may give you hands and feet action to do, but first and foremost and always is to pray and align ourselves with God. And I think there's extra power in saying these things out loud. We're made in God's image. When he made mankind, he breathed his breath into man, and man became a living soul, and he left something of his thumbprint in us, I believe. And there's power in the voice. King Solomon wrote that there's power of life and death is in the tongue. So saying those things out loud We can align ourselves with God, who calls things that are not as though they were. The best is yet to come. And welcome to the Great Awakening.
Thank you, Mike, for those words of wisdom, my friend. And let me get my mic a little bit closer so everybody can hear me. All right, everybody, 5'5". Tell me out there in the chat I'm 5'5". All right, so let's go into our daily devotional. And this one is by Preacher Seth. And this one's from yesterday because I don't think he's quite woke up yet. But I pulled the one from yesterday. So what's stealing your peace here now won't matter in eternity. Too many people are carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, trying to control every outcome, fix every problem, and hold everything together at once. God, I do that. Thank you guys for the 5 5s out there. I very much appreciate that. But peace and serenity was never supposed to come from controlling life. Peace comes from trusting God in the middle of life. The world feels heavy when we treat every problem like it's eternal. Every bad day feels final. Every frustration feels massive. Every delay feels catastrophic. But Scripture constantly reminds us to zoom out and remember God is still on the throne. God is still faithful. And this moment is not the end of the story. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. And that's Isaiah 26:3. There is a kind of serenity that only comes when you stop gripping everything so tightly. Not apathy, not pretending problems aren't real, not laziness, but the quiet confidence that God is way bigger than the storm you're standing in. Casting all of your care upon him, for he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, how important will this be a year from now? Hey, Glenn, I see you over there on YouTube. Thank you for checking in over there. Because many of the things stealing our peace today will not even matter tomorrow. Set your mind on the things above, not on the things of the earth. Colossians 3:2. The enemy wants people emotionally exhausted, mentally overloaded, and spiritually distracted. But Christ calls his people into rest, trust, and steady faith. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's Matthew 11:28. You do not have to carry the entire world today. Just walk faithfully with God today. Pray today. Trust today. Obey today. And let the rest sit in the hands of the one who already holds eternity. So what's stealing your peace here and now won't matter in eternity. Seth, that is so true. You know, anxiety comes, and I hate to say this, guys, and this is going to smack you in the head a little bit. Your anxiety comes from that you are not trusting God. And you are trying to control everything, saying, I can do this. But I heard this a long time ago. I think it was Tracy that said this. We are not camels. Okay, now follow me here. Follow me. Hey, Seth, good morning, checking in this morning. We are not camels. We are sheep. Camels are meant to carry all kinds of things on their back and trudge through the deserts and, don't have to drink water a lot. They're for transportation of heavy stuff. God calls us sheep. Sheep are not meant to carry loads on their backs. So why are you trying so much to carry things on your back when you're a sheep? We are God's sheep. We are his flock. We are not meant to carry heavy loads on our backs. So when you're trying to carry all these heavy loads, you're like, oh, I can't move. And you ever got like this heaviness on you? Have you ever got like this sense of dread and sense of, oh my gosh, my life is falling apart and I don't know what to do? Hey, Tot Killer 7 over there on YouTube, thanks for checking in. And also, I saw Dieter7757 checking in, and so one more. Oh, RNG560, welcome in this morning. But going back to what I was saying, so no wonder we can't do it all by ourselves. Because, yeah, USAID said, I ain't no donkey. We're not camels either, we're sheep. So the only way that you can keep God in focus is a couple of things. They're real easy things. Take this morning and pray. When you don't pray, you don't have that one-on-one relationship with the Lord. Okay? So you feel lost. You forget that God's in control because we are human. We forget. We have to stay in constant contact. Another way, hey, Sarah over there on X, thank you for checking in. We have to read the Bible. We have to see what God says to us. There is power in the Word. So read your Bible or listen to your Bible. Just a little bit every day. It kind of keeps you in contact with the Lord. And I'm telling you guys, 15 minutes a day listening to the Word or reading the Bible will change your life. I'm telling you, it will. All right, so that was our daily devotion of the day. All right, so I was talking earlier. We have got our 8th grandchild, and this is Tracy holding Maverick Lee. I was calling him Baby Chet because that's what his big brother was calling him. That's Baby Chip in Mama's tummy right there. So that is Maverick Lee, and we welcomed him into this God's earth, this creation that he made us. I believe it was like at 7:40 a.m. yesterday. So thank you everybody so much for the well wishes going on there. So before we hop into the news, guys, I know this is kind of old news, but how should I say this? I want to talk about Jordan Clark real quick because I haven't got a chance. I haven't been on air, since he passed away. I want to kind of pay a little bit of a tribute to him. I'm not going to lie, Jordan and I, for the past 3 or 4 months, we talked occasionally a little bit. It wasn't like we talked every day and text every day and we're huge buddies. About, I'd say about 7, 8 months ago, we kind of had a falling out a little bit, but we patched things up. And, it was a big misunderstanding and we come together. So I would occasionally text him about once every week, 2 weeks, and, check in on him. And I regret very much for not going back on his show. We had talked about it. We had planned about it. Hey, JJ Watt 63. Thank you so much for checking in over there on Rumble. But Jordan Clark left us a couple of days ago, and the man was a great patriot. The man had a huge, huge, huge heart for everyone. He genuinely cared. That is hard to find in people. That's, he wasn't one of these grifters. And yeah, he did sell stuff like we all do. We have to, pay the bills and make a little bit of money to try to do this because time is money. But he cared. He devoted his time. I remember back in the day when we were talking, he's like, Josh, man, I just don't have any time because, between my business and I do 2 podcasts every day, and it's a lot. And I said, welcome to the Great Awakening, as Mike says over there at Hunter's Blend. But, he genuinely cared. And that's why I love Jordan Clark. And everybody was, so sad, but I was telling a couple people on X, I'm like, don't be sad. He's in a much better place than we are now. He's not struggling and in and out of the hospital with his heart failure. He's one of God's warriors right now. He is fighting the literal spiritual battle right now beside our Lord. And I do want to say this. This is the post I made on X. This was the first live I ever did, ever. I never thought I would be a podcaster ever. Until one day I met Jordan Clark. He bugged and bugged me to come on his show. For 2 weeks, every day, messages saying, my audience wants you to come on the show. So I reluctantly did. And it was great. We both had a blast. And if I recall correctly, guys, I think that show was like 4 hours long. It was my first podcast. And, before I go any further, I've told this story a couple of times, on live, but I was so nervous. I was telling Tracy, I'm like, I'm going to puke. This is not something that I just do. It's not something that I've ever done before. I'm not a media personality. I'm a decoder. I'm in this movement to help decode and people understand Q. And, people, I like to try to witness to people on X. I'm nervous. And then Jordan called me and he's like, dude, what's going on? Why aren't you in the studio? And because we usually like to check in about 10, 15 minutes backstage. And I said, man, I'm gonna puke. And he's like, dude, just be yourself. You'll be fine. So we got on. But I want to say this. I owe my future to Jordan Clark. I know y'all have heard the story a million times from me, but it is true. Thank you, Jordan. Without you, I would have never met so many wonderful people I call family now. Thank you for that push you gave me that altered my life forever. Truther Media would have never been without Jordan Clark. I'm so glad we patched things up 6 months ago between us. Thank you, Jordan, for everything. And guys, this was a screen clip of my first ever live. And Jordan had me on a show. We had a blast with it. I do want to show you this quick clip. And this is what Jordan was about. And he was so passionate about the movement. And let me play this quick clip by Jordan.
So this one's for all my, I don't know what to call you guys anymore. Is it anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, anti-everything? I have no idea what I'm even doing. I'm just doing it. Well, this is for everyone out there that has turned their back on Trump's. And I just want to say this. Listen. With the utmost respect, you look ignorant. You look ignorant. You look uneducated. You look, I don't know if it's because of the clicks. I don't know if you're getting paid by Soros. I don't know if you got them in your pockets. I have no idea. But listen, I can tell you this, that, one day here soon, you're going to look down the road and you're going to look back on this. And you're going to be like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I mean, you look about, I don't know how many years back, 8 or 9, and what the guy did, he came in, he took assassination attempts. He took all these bullets, he took all these arrows for you. Not only that, he's freeing you from a satanic cult that has enslaved the world with their monopolies and their NGOs and their fraud and all of their ways of power, controlling you through money, the central banking cartel from Britain to the British Empire of London, all the way down to America, to the Federal Reserve, IRS. You're a slave, and guess who's getting you out of it? The guy that you're turning on. Yep, the one that lowered the taxes is going to definitely lower your energy bills, bring gas down way below $1.50 here soon, and you guys don't even know it. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Are you doing it for clicks and views? Because, I mean, you look, like I said, to the people that are still 100% common sense MAGA, Make America Great Again, it's ain't about one president. It's about a freaking coalition, a revolution. It's a revolution 2.0. Okay, so here's the deal. Listen, we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, I told you so, welcome back, or you should have never left. No, we're not even going to pay attention. Down the road, we're going to be so far ahead because we understand the value of what's coming, a new financial system, new energy, new everything, communications, everything's about to change, and you're dipping. You're following the bandwagons. You're following people with all the followers and the views. That's cool. That's cool. What happens when these platforms are gone? Then what? Then what? Listen, I pray for discernment. I pray you lose the scales over your eyes. And I pray you see that this is only a year and, I don't know, he's got 2.5 years left of a presidency. Not another 4-year election. Another 2.5 years left. What are y'all going to do? A battle for the midterms right now. And it's about to get even crazier. It's going to get crazier. But I tell you what, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. And just remember, when he gives those dividend checks back and he gets you free from all this, just remember the one president that actually did something. You turned your back on him. Join my shows every night if you want to learn more. X, Facebook, and Rumble, 6 p.m. Eastern. Would love to see you on the chat.
Thank you, Jordan, for everything that you've done for our movement. You really helped wake a lot of people up on your time on this earth. It was an honor to call you a friend. You can rest in peace now, but I believe that God has called him to be one of his warriors in heaven because he had that warrior spirit. So thank you, Jordan. I'll see you again one day. Thank you. Samantha 321 comes in with a $20 Rumble rant, says, needed your voice in God. Thank you so much. I do enjoy getting the Rumble rants and reading them. We are viewer funded. I do have sponsors, but guys, I don't make a ton of money from them. So, I very much appreciate your all support. It helps, pay the bills. There's a lot of costs that come in with doing this. So we very, very much appreciate all the support that you give us out there. So let's go on. Guys, are you ready to get into the news finally? We're 41 minutes in. So we might want to get into the news a little bit. So here's first up on the list, guys. Real Life Patriot and Average Joe Patriot had a show with David Clements the other day. It was his Sunday night show that comes on at 8 p.m. called Real AF Talk. So David Clements is a really good friend of Truther Media. He's been on my show a couple times. He's a wealth of knowledge out there. But here's what Steve said. Was The Apprentice part of Q? When exactly did the military have their eye on Donald Trump to be the one? Did the military use The Apprentice to set the stage for Trump to be president in order to destroy the deep state? Let's check that out. Let's see what's going on, what Steve and AJP are alluding to.
Effectuate the plan that won't break, that won't crack, who's bought in for a decade long at least plan where you're allowing perception about you to be mostly wrong by the world. And the character that you have to be the guy that will take the slings and arrows.
Hey, Twice Barb, thank you for checking
Even
in.
if someone tells you I'm that guy, give them a year in the arena, they break. And so you have to be so certain that you've got the right guy. And a data point for me is I think that The Apprentice was the inoculation plan where the brain trust in PSYOP land says you need at least 10 years in the living room of the average American in the trailer park. And they need to see certain things, that they can trust you, that you're competent, that you don't put up with any garbage, you do the firing. And all of a sudden that worked. There was such a strong bond with not the elites, but with the American people that were glued.
Hey, Cynthia,
and I bring up
thanks
the
for
trailer
checking in
park
on X.
for a reason. People in the ivory tower, especially people that I worked with at the university, loathe Trump because of the way that he messages, because it's very, very crayon coloring book, short words. And what he's demonstrating is a super genius because he took his ego out of it. And he actually doesn't message the same way. I think he's much more articulate in the 70s and 80s in the way that it's not like nursery rhyme repetition. So when you realize that the victory for him it's all about reverse brainwashing the American people, that's the goal. Then you can start getting a little looser and creative in why it doesn't matter if he's absolutely truthful or granular on details. That's not the point. He's got to awaken you from the siren song of your brainwashing. And so, looking at this plan, my sense is that every expert that's a civilian or former military, that where we learned how rigged our elections were, and we had to find out pretty quickly. Some of us found out like right away, but it was still mind-breaking in its complexity. There had to have been someone in the military read into the plan that already knew that, 20 years ago, and they've been waiting for people to wake up.
Who asked Trump to run? Did the military ask Trump to run? Did it go back further than that? Was the military saying, okay, we need to get you in every household? I mean, the Trump name is already big in the financial circles, and you've been on all these little talk shows here and there, but we really need to hammer to the public of who Donald Trump really is. Yeet Force says, honestly, the whole "you're fired" stick was totally prepped for how Trump runs the presidency. Put him in the spotlight, highlight the clowning. Yeah, I agree 100% on that, Yeet. It was to get Donald Trump in the average American's home and getting Trump, rooted on. So when he come down that golden escalator in 2015, everybody was like, hey, I like this guy. This guy might be able to get some stuff done. Yeah, Carrie Girl 74 says was absolutely part of the plan. And I believe so too. I believe that David Clements was spot on that. Hey, MAGA Man, thank you so much for checking in over there on X Chat. Cindy Rocks 260 also checking in, and Scout Mom checking in, and Kelly B also checking in over there. Jen, welcome in this morning. It seems like everybody is waking up. I still don't have any Pilled chat. Guys, if you're over there on Pilled, at least say hey to me, man. And so, cause I see y'all watching, but oh well, maybe Pilled's just a little bit shy this morning. All right. So let's see. Happy Day 66 finally checks in over there on pilled.net. So let's go on to our next. Real AF Patriot also reports Arabella advisors on deck. Okay, so guys, back in the day when we were on the boards and doing all this digging, Arabella advisors come up really early as one of these companies, these kind of like NGOs that would take in all this money and then distribute it to all of these different like causes, and it was a hub of financing. Okay, so here's what Real AF Patriot said. Arabella advisors on deck. Arabella advisors now operating as Sunflower Services. So in the future, you guys need to remember that. So if you don't remember anything about Arabella advisors, they are now operating as Sunflower Services, is under investigation, and it all leads back to the CCP. A closer look at attacks on Utah data center project has uncovered something much larger, according to Kevin O'Leary. O'Leary says an extensive investigation involving data scientists, IP tracking, IRS filings, and funding records revealed what has appeared to be coordinated campaign targeting energy and data center infrastructure. He says 90 pages of evidence has already been provided to federal law enforcement, and concerns raises directly with White House contacts. If these findings hold up, this just isn't about one project. This is about who may be influencing critical infrastructure development across the country and why. So let's watch this clip.
I have another mission that has emerged from this that I did not see coming. And maybe we want to segue into what happened the evening of May 4th at 8:30. because I have 12 million plus followers on various social media platforms. I got a call from one of our IT guys, and he said, there's something wrong here. There's a massive
Seth, good
influx in DMs going on two specific platforms, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Not a small increase, tens of thousands of percent increase. I said, well, is it a mistake? Is there a technical glitch on these platforms? He said, unlikely. They're two different complete platforms. So he had a first look and he said, wow, there's a lot of similar IP addresses here. And so we did an initial scan, and we realized, wait a second, there is bots operating here. There are nefarious accounts out of the country dumping stuff that's completely false about Utah. So we didn't wait. The next morning we hired and started working with a very advanced data science team. And what we learned was, to me, shocking, just stunning. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I still can't, because I'm getting the data by the 4-hour cycle now. The content itself was coming from two batches, like the actual pixels, the images were from the Party for Socialism and Liberation and the People's Dispatch. I'd never heard of them before. You do a search on them, you'll find them under investigation by multiple branches of Congress. Most of the within the IP addresses in Utah were coming from two IP addresses, Alliance for a Better Utah and one called Elevate. So we found out that Alliance for a Better Utah was actually a tax filer. And we went to the IRS Form 990s, which are public. And we started to drill down into what the filings were. And lo and behold, multiple filings through multiple entities all over the world, all going back to something called Arabella. Neville Singham, under investigation. Multiple branches of the government. Shares offices with the CPP. So then I said, I want more. Can you tell me the exact amounts? And we got those the next day. We're talking about millions, hundreds of millions of dollars here. It's not just Utah. These guys are doing campaigns everywhere there's a proposed increase in power and or a data center. More digging, more. Salt Lake Party for Socialism and Liberation. Salt Lake Democratic Socialists of America. Then this one today. The Cuban Institute for Friendship with the People. What the hell are they doing marching around Box Elder County? I mean, what is this? And so I called my contacts at the White House. I raised a flag and I said, what the hell is going on here? They put me in touch with various law enforcement agents. We had a meeting last week with my entire data set team and multiple law enforcement agencies. And we started sharing data. I gave them 90 pages of IP addresses, all over the place, all around the world, hitting these locations. You see where I'm going with this? I'm not okay with this. And I found it in Alberta, Canada, too. So it's there's a war going on, I guess a PR war, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, is what you're suggesting that these entities are sort of taking funds from the Chinese Communist Party and using those funds to sort of run a digital sort of blackmail campaign against your projects?
I'm not suggesting it. It's an irrefutable fact. This is IRS 990 filings with the exact dollars and dates from exactly where it came from. No, not infuting. I'm saying that is exactly what's happening.
Now do you see why this is called the digital battlefield? Now do you see why Trump needs us? Because there is a coordinated disinformation campaign that goes against, all of us out there and the good elected politicians and mostly Donald Trump. That's why you see shills all over X. I mean, X is the battlefield, but half of it isn't even real, folks. You know, that's why we always try to tell you in Truth or Media, don't, you know, you start looking at you see this off the wall comment, and then you go look in this person's profile and they have like 5 followers, or they have like even 50 followers, but their account come into existence in like 2009. There's something wrong with that. A lot of these things are, you know, these comments from people are bots. And I'm going to tell you, if you haven't noticed, a lot of people within our movement also use bots to get views on their shows. You know, just watch. Look at some of these numbers on X. That some of these Anons out there are getting bigger numbers than Benny Johnson. I mean, come on now, people. But anyways, so there's a coordinated disinformation campaign, and it's being funded from around the world. That's why that Q needed us to push against all this stuff, because what they do is they come in, they drop their comment, and you never hear from them again. So we can actually go in with our own research and debunk all these stupid comments everywhere. All right, so let's move on. So I pulled a lot of clips from And We Know today, because And We Know LT has been doing a really good job at reporting just the real news out there, not just decodes and everything like that. So And We Know LT says, just now, violent leftists are actively assaulting ICE agents in Newark, New Jersey, as officers try to do their job. Agents are responding by shoving the rioters back to clear the area. This is what open borders radicalism looks like, attacking the men and women enforcing our laws. And this is crazy, guys.
Go, go. Hey, watch out! Back up.
That's what open borders has gotten us. Pushing against law enforcement, just trying to enforce our own laws that Congress enacted. Why are these illegals so important? The wall means more than you know. It gives us open pass, or it gives them the open pass for massive fraud everywhere, for the government cutting people checks and funding terrorism from within our own country. Now, some of these people, they're just part of the 4 to 6% that is going to be lost forever. They are so indoctrinated that they cannot see when you put a facts in front of them, they reject it. They're like, nope, that is not true. And Donald Trump is evil. Donald Trump is trying to take down our country. They're just part of these 4 to 6%ers out there. And we know also reports Secretary Marco Rubio on Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. It's either a good deal or there isn't going to be one. And let's watch this quick clip by Marco Rubio.
They're going to be open one way or the other. So they need to be open. What's happening there is unlawful, it's illegal, it's unsustainable for the world, it's unacceptable. I don't know of any country in the world that does it. The Russians are not in favor of a tolling system. The Chinese are not in favor of a tolling system. I mean, there's no country in the world that's in favor of a tolling system except the regime in Iran. So that's not acceptable. That cannot happen. The straits need to be open, unimpeded, without tolls. And obviously that needs to happen immediately as soon as anything's agreed to. Well, look, I think our position is well stated. The president had a very important, I think, historic call just a couple days ago with a number of leaders from the region. I think there's strong alignment and agreement on what a preliminary draft should look like. I think that, like anything with something like this, it's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence. So we'll have to work through that. If there's going to be a deal, we're going to have to work through that. But this is, it's either going to be a good deal or there isn't going to be one.
So you've got a lot of people out there. All the fake news out there is pushing, oh, Trump's going to concede. Even my buddy texted me the other day and said, they're saying Trump's going to concede on these tolls going through the Strait of Hormuz, and he's going to concede on the nuclear programs. Ladies and gentlemen, these people don't know what the hell is going on. and I'm just going to tell you this right now. There's a lot of people within our movement that have big family names out there that is going against everything that Trump is saying. But they're not even in Trump's orbit anymore. So that makes you think a little bit. So when did we start siding with the MSM, you know? So you got to remember that when you're seeing a lot of our people actually within our own movement siding with the MSM, I mean that's got to tell you something there. So my point is though, is that you've got to turn this big box off. And when you get people texting you like my buddy saying, you know, that they are saying that they're going to concede and say, huh, are they in these meetings with Trump? Do they know, like, the negotiation process of what's going on? The man wrote The Art of the Deal. He has never made a bad deal for us. Do you think all of a sudden that he's just going to make a bad deal for us and say, we ain't going to worry about the nuclear dust. We ain't going to worry about those tolls. You know, go ahead and start collecting those tolls. No, he's not. Just urge people to use their brains a little bit and not be so short-memoried about everything that he's done and all these deals that we've worked out. Because usually when you start reminding people, they're like, you're right. You're right. So let's just hold tight. Let's see what happens in all this. Because ultimately Trump's the only one that really knows what's going on. He's one of the very few that has the overall picture and the overall plan on what he wants to do. Let's keep going. And we know, says Justin, not a single Democrat state attorney general showed up for Vice President J.D. Vance's anti-fraud roundtable at the White House, even after he personally extended an olive branch and invited them. Republicans showed up ready to fight fraud. Democrats, they all said no, hiding behind the lame time constraint excuses. This is the party of fraud exposed.
Vice President Vance will hold a roundtable with state attorneys general on anti-fraud initiatives. This comes as the Trump administration cracks down on a wide range of fraud. We will bring that event to you live when it happens, but for now, America Reports.
A live look at the White House now ahead of a rare and critical cabinet meeting happening at Camp David tomorrow. It comes as tensions rise after the U.S. carried out defensive strikes in southern Iran. Welcome to America Reports as we kick off a brand new week. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Bill, good to have you here today.
Hey, Sandra, as always, great to be with you. Happy Tuesday afternoon to you. I'm Bill Malugin in Washington today. John Roberts is on assignment. All eyes are now on how Iran will respond to these attacks.
Not one Democrat showed up to the meetings. Why? Because they're implicated in this. They're not going to come to a meeting to where they're going to be called out, because the majority of it, not all, but the majority of it is going on in the Democrat Party. And what's not going on in the Democrat Party is going on in the Rhino Republican side. The swamp. The big swamp. So no, they're probably not going to show up to these meetings. Just in, Vice President J.D. Vance laid out the staggering fraud his task force has uncovered in just 2 months. $22 billion in fraudulent small business loans referred for collection. $1.3 billion in fake Medicaid payments deferred. Part of a massive guys, we're talking about billions. We're not talking about millions. We're talking about billions. Really let that sink in when we're talking about these numbers, because I think we get, hey, Rhea, thank you for checking in over there on Rumble. And I see Burn Notice over there in Rumble. So thank you very much for checking in, guys. And Donnie Double also checking in over there on Rumble. Thank you. So, guys, when we're going over all these numbers and we're just skimming over them, it's like it's almost become second nature to us that, oh, there's another billion gone, there's another billion gone, there's another billion gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about billions of dollars, not millions, billions. $135 billion stolen right after COVID, now being recovered. Do you remember back in the COVID days where all these people were getting all these loans, these small business loans? Ladies and gentlemen, like 75% of those loans went to fraudulent companies. And they just never repaid them, ever. It was supposed to be a loan, but they just went, we ain't going to collect on them. $6.3 billion in shady government contracts, mostly from the Biden area, flagged. This is what real accountability looks like.
In just 2 months, we exposed billions of dollars in benefits that have been stolen from the American people. We've referred over $22 billion in fraudulent small business loans back to the Treasury for collection. We deferred more than $1.3 billion in fraudulent Medicaid reimbursements.
Hey, Messi, good morning
that
on
were
X.
coming from various states, particularly California. We put a 6-month hold on enrollments for new hospice and home health care providers because so many of the newer hospice providers were not actually providing hospice services, but were just focused on fraud. So we're going to cut that out for a little bit and try to get to a place where we can actually certify that the people providing hospice services are actually providing those very necessary and important services. We recovered taxpayer funds from the $135 billion stolen after the floodgates were open in the immediate aftermath of COVID. We have found $6.3 billion in suspected fraudulent government contracts, which were mostly awarded during the last administration, and that has stopped. And finally, we blocked $60 million in student aid fraud that should have gone to young people trying to get an education, but instead we're going to fraudsters.
Can you imagine if we didn't have all this fraud? Let's think about that real quick. Billions here, billions there, 135 billion here, 135 billion there. That adds up into our national debt. It adds up big time. And we're just uncovering very small portions of all of this fraud. Every day we're digging up more and more and more. So when you think, you know, the government always pushed for this increased ceiling and spending all the time. And they have to come to these deals that where they have to make between the Republicans and Democrats. Oh, we got to keep the government open. So they use that. Hey, Mary calling up. Good morning. A Dutch crumbler, a Dutch rumbler. I always say crumbler for some reason. Welcome in this morning. So they always use this playbook of, oh, we have to reopen the government. So they make these backdoor deals and these huge bills with all this slush funding in there. If we didn't have all these backdoor deals like Dadgummit was saying a couple of days ago, how easy would it be to balance our budget? Makes you think a little bit. President Trump's administration is now rolling out non-disclosure agreements for all federal employees, new hires, and current staff to plug the constant leaks of confidential information. Brett Baer reports the goal is simple: Stop the deep state from sabotaging the government from within. Agencies can opt out, but the message is clear. No more free-flowing classified info to the media.
The administration is planning to make it standard procedure for federal workers to sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs. The stated goal is to stop leaks of confidential government information. Fox News reviewed a copy of a draft notice posted to the Federal Registrar by the Office of Personnel Management. That is the agency that oversees the federal workforce. The draft says individual agencies can opt out of the NDAs. Federal workers already have whistleblower protections, setting up a potential legal battle between federal workers who do not wish to sign and agency heads that want the opposite. The head of the union representing federal and D.C. government employees says the rule is part of a continuing effort to silence federal employees.
What would the news do if they didn't have all these quote-unquote insiders? And everything kind of just stayed hush-hush of what's going on. They wouldn't have anything to report on until the administration actually announced something. They couldn't put the spin on it. And I'm just going to tell you right now, and this is from my experience, when you're in business or in government and you don't want to sign an NDA, that's very, very, very telling. Very telling, people. So let's say the NSA. Say you go to work for the NSA. And they put this piece of paper in you and they say, okay, here's a standard non-disclosure agreement. We need you to sign this because we don't need leaks to outside sources or whatever the case may be. And then you say, no, I don't want to do that. And it's like, why? This is sensitive information. We can't get this information out to the public until we're ready to make it public. And yeah, there's going to be whistleblowers out there. I believe there needs to be whistleblower protection. But as a general scope of everything, if it's not illegal, you don't need to be talking about it with the media. You need to wait until the administration is ready to roll out this announcement. Like I said, not illegal. NDAs don't and should not cover illegal activities. So just remember that as that story develops. And we know also reports just in a federal court has blocked Alabama's new congressional map that would deliver 6 Republican seats in 2026, even after the Supreme Court struck down race-based districts. This is an activist judge defying SCOTUS, appeal to the Supreme Court immediately. Alabama, Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito are ready to drop the hammer on racial gerrymandering once and for all.
That state's plan to use a new congressional map has been blocked by a judge. That could have helped Republicans pick up more House seats, giving the party perhaps an advantage in the midterms. The state will have to use the current maps. At least for now, Alabama could appeal the ruling. Many states have to the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll see whether or not that is the next action taken. Stand by.
So if you don't know this, the president has what they call a fast track that he can use to get stuff into the Supreme Court to let them take a look at it. So this one's going to be probably pretty quick because they've already ruled on it. It's already out there. But this activist judge is just saying, I'm ignoring the higher courts. This is what we got to do. So I foresee that the Supreme Court's probably going to act pretty quickly on this. And they're going to say, no, we've already ruled on this. We've already ruled on it. You need to carry forward Alabama. Keep on going with it. So these lower judges are going to be rendered inert. I mean, to these activist judges. So don't worry, Alabama. It's coming. Just in, President Trump completed his 6-month physical at Walter Reed and declared everything checked out perfectly. He's already back at the White House strong and ready to keep winning for America. At an age where most politicians slow down, President Trump is healthy. So I saw this come down, and about a day before, remember us talking about bots and things like that? I saw this influx of messaging coming from these people that I've never even seen before on X saying, this is not normal. Why is the President Trump going to Walter Reed so much? His health is not good. We need to invoke the 25th Amendment. We need to do an investigation. He's not fit for duty. Have we not forgotten about Joe Biden? Joe Biden had freaking cancer. Did we forget about did the other side and the deep state just kind of forget about Joe Biden and how they paraded him out and he called the lid at 2:00 in the afternoon because he had to go sleep? I mean, it's just it's laughable at this point.
Heading back to the White House after his physical at Walter Reed. In terms of timing for when we will see any results from today's physical, a White House official tells us they expect to have a readout in the next day or so. We'll keep you updated.
So it's that bot warfare that they keep using, and they keep trying to spin these narratives. Yeah, USAID, I know Biden had a mask. I know he was fake. I get it. But optically, everything is kind of coming full circle. Think mirror. So I just thought that was kind of funny. In Wokeness said it begins. New York City Mayor Zohan Mandami unveils his plan to transfer ownership from landlords to quote unquote the community.
When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
So here's the playbook on New York City. You tax the hell out of everybody. You tax. Nobody can afford to live in New York City except in these slums. So these slumlords, they do take advantage of that. But you got to remember, this is an entire playbook. It's not just that Mandami is playing the good guy. This was a multi-year operation in New York City. So now the playbook is we've got all these slumlords and everything now. Now we're going to take their property and everybody's going to cheer for it. Clean these up. People, we still live in the United States of America. I know there's some such thing called eminent domain, but that has to be proven. You can't just start going taking property from people. That's the precedent that they want to set. Are you seeing it yet? Do you see the left's playbook? Do you see the Rhino's playbook? Yeah, Carrie Girl 74 said, is he Robin Hood? He's wanting to try to play Robin Hood because he's wanting to appeal to the low prosperity voter out there and the people that are struggling. I get it. Move the hell out of New York if you can until this stuff gets fixed up, until our elections get fixed. U.S. Secretary of Health Robert F. Kennedy Jr. believes that DARPA, a secretive military agency, is spraying dangerous chemtrails in the sky and has vowed to put a stop to it. This clip is not new, but it's very important because it does show RFK Jr.'s support in doing this. So let's watch this quick clip.
In 2023, during his failed presidential campaign, RFK Jr. hosted a podcast about chemtrails, where he platformed claims that the U.S. military is secretly using commercial jetliners to disperse harmful chemicals in the sky as part of a secret global program.
chemtrails? Is this all military aircraft? The military programs to weaponize climate. I know they're doing that because they do it with everything else. They do it with chemicals.
In 2024, in response to a post on X about chemtrails, RFK said, "We're going to stop this crime." And in 2025, after RFK was confirmed as America's next health secretary, he went on the Dr. Phil show and in response to an audience member asking about chemtrails, said DARPA, a US military agency, is secretly dumping chemicals in the sky.
It's done, we think, by DARPA, and a lot of it now is coming out of the jet fuel.
Yes, sir.
So, those materials are put in jet fuel. I'm going to do everything in my power to stop it.
This inspired lawmakers in Louisiana, Tennessee, and Florida to propose and pass new laws banning chemtrails over their states. And South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who is known to dabble with conspiracy theories like UFOs, also jumped on the chemtrail wagon, publicly proclaiming her support to ban nefarious chemical spraying over her state. Then, in 2026, a rediscovered declassified CIA document threw gasoline on the already raging chemtrail fire.
Well, it's all coming out now. This is nothing new that we didn't know, but the general public is starting to find out about this because on the news, on their little black box that they watch every night, they're starting to see this stuff. And now they're starting to go to X to research this stuff. They're starting to go to Facebook and research this stuff. That's why we got to stay on the digital battlefield, people, because we're getting a lot of new people coming into our movement and asking these questions like, is this stuff real? Because the news is kind of reporting on it now. Yeah, Mary calling up said, quote unquote, one known to dabble in conspiracy theories. Mary, we're batting 1,000 on conspiracy theories. We're actually running out of conspiracy theories now that have not been proven true. All right, so let's go on to some election news that happened yesterday in Texas. Eric Daugherty reports, holy smokes. This is Donald Trump's 2026 endorsement scorecard, and the left can't stand it. Governor, Trump endorses 8. He won 8. U.S. House, 101 endorsed. He's won 101. U.S. Senate, he endorsed 9 candidates. He won 9. Ken Paxton was outspent 9-1 in the GOP primary.
Races and Senate races. This is his scorecard, okay? He has endorsed 8 governors. Now, some of these races weren't real close, didn't have a lot of competition, but some of them did. We saw what happened in Louisiana, the primary with Bill Cassidy. We saw what happened a week ago tonight with Tom Massey in Kentucky. And now we're seeing it again tonight, okay, in Texas. Governor level, Trump endorsed 8. He won 8 times. U.S. House, 101 endorsed. He won 101 endorsed in the House, and he won 101. Let me put on the pencil right here and show you this. U.S. Senate, Sean, he has endorsed 8 candidates. And prior to tonight, he had won 8 times. And now you can take the endorsement from 8 to 9 endorsed, and from 8 to 9 winner. Ken Paxton was outspent 9-1. Got the endorsement from Trump, got the endorsement of Wesley Hunt, the congressman who got knocked out 2.5 months ago. And now we got the setup in Paxton of Tellurico. Many Republicans felt if John Cornyn could win tonight, that he could be an easy winner over Tellurico. We'll never know that now. And a lot of Republicans felt that they could save a lot of money too if Cornyn won. But that did not happen. Here's what will happen, Sean, in November. In Texas, probably the most expensive Senate race that we have seen ever. We were looking at some of the numbers.
Man, that's a pretty good record of 100%, don't you think? And I do want to say this. A lot of people are pushing against that's supposedly in our movement. Big families out there in our movement and stuff are pushing against these Trump endorsements. that are not even in Trump's orbit. They don't know what's going on. Okay, they don't have the plan in front of them any longer. Trump is methodical in his plan. He doesn't just endorse somebody just to endorse somebody. You know, one of these things is you look at Lindsey Graham. Everybody don't like Lindsey Graham, and I get it. The drops say, you know, that it's time, Chairman Graham. You know, the drops speak positively about sometimes about Lindsey Graham. And here's my take on it. When Trump endorses somebody that we really don't like, odds are they're being controlled by Trump, I think. So, a Dutch Rumbler, thanks for joining us this morning. I appreciate it. So, you got to think, why is Trump endorsing this person? Trump is not the deep state, people. He's fighting the deep state. So when Trump tells me to go vote for somebody, I tend to listen to that man. I don't buy into all of this, oh, he's putting him in the spotlight, because that record that you just saw right there, that speaks for itself. When Trump says to go vote for somebody, the people go vote for them. And I know there's a lot of people in this movement that's, didn't win their primaries or didn't win this and didn't win that, and they were supposedly MAGA first and MAGA and all this. Guys, don't get bogged down in all that. Listen to what boss tells you. If he wanted somebody in there, he's going to endorse them, and they're going to get in there. I know that's disappointing to a lot of people out there, because there were some people in this past primary cycle that we were like, yeah, we want them, but they didn't get in for a reason, guys. I don't know what that reason is, but Trump didn't endorse them for a reason. Probably because they're not part of the plan. I hate to tell you that, but you got to listen to this man right here. He's got it all. He's got everything. So let's keep going. Eric Daugherty reports, just in, Mays Middleton has defeated Chip Roy in the GOP primary for Texas Attorney General and now will be the nominee this November. Middleton has vowed to quash the Islamization of Texas, keep Texas red, and repel Islam. Time to win.
Because we are a Christian nation. We are a Christian state. Period. The end. I took on our foreign adversaries as well. Stopped China from buying our land, tripled border security, designated cartels as terrorists, and am now taking on one of our most growing and biggest threats, which is Sharia law and Islamification. You know, Sharia law is organized crime, period, and I will treat it as such. I also changed the law to stop these radical Muslim groups like CARE and Muslim Brotherhood from buying any property in Texas.
That is a scorched earth answer. I want to break it into multiple parts, please, because what you said there is fascinating to me, Mays. And again, a very welcome voice on the program. One, treating Sharia law as organized crime. Can you please unpack that? That's fascinating.
Yeah. So look, we've got to make sure that everyone understands this is not a religious liberties issue. This is not a First Amendment issue, because if they're faithfully adherent to their ideology, and I call an ideology for a reason in the Quran, they see us as the infidel that they can commit jihad against. This is an America First issue. This is a Texas First issue. This is a national security issue, because they don't think we deserve the right to exist as Americans or as Christians. And it's how they're undermining us with this red-green alliance that we have seen. And Benny, I've seen it at the Capitol. 10 Commandments, I mentioned earlier. Guess who lobbied against that? CARE did, right? The radical Muslim terrorist group. That shows you what they're going for. They're trying to destroy this country, and they're trying to destroy this state, because the left is certain of this. If they take Texas, they've taken this whole country. We cannot elect a Republican president without Texas. They are well aware of that, and they are coming for us, like James Tallarico, for example. That guy is a lunatic. This is a guy that says he's a pastor, and I use air quotes for a reason. Said there's a biblical argument for abortion. He said that God is non-binary transgender. He said it's unchristian and un-American to display the 10 Commandments in schools. So you know what my reaction to that was? I bought 10 Commandments posters for all the schools in his district and donated them in his honor.
Well, I would love to get to Tallarico. Just really quickly, though,
Next order reports breaking. Race-baiting Democrat hack Representative Al Green. Remember the guy that always stands up in the State of the Unions, kind of acting the fool and stuff, and gets thrown out. Al Green has lost his primary and will lose his seat this November. Well-deserved, you POS. And let's watch this quick clip.
A jarring one to see, I think, just in terms of where expectations were. Green won Fort Bend in a landslide in the preliminary, getting crushed by Menifee here in his home base. And again, that's Harris County. And so our decision desk is saying that long-time Democratic incumbent Al Green, he, among other things, if you watch the State of the Union address every year, he's often prominent there for a variety of reasons. But Al Green losing here to Christian Menifee. So one incumbent had to go. Our decision desk says Al Green will be that incumbent.
Bye-bye, Mr. Caveman. Spam Girl and MAGA Man says over there on X. So this is the big one, guys. Next order reports now, Kim Paxton takes the stage after absolutely whooping John Cornyn's ass in Texas. Tonight, we just sent a Texas-sized message to Washington. I want to thank President Donald J. Trump. When everyone in Washington told him to abandon me and abandon the people of Texas, he didn't listen. Instead, he gave his complete and total endorsement.
I feel speechless in a way, but you know, they're not going to let me do that. Wow. To the people in this room, to the people watching at home, and to the people of the great state of Texas, tonight,
Hey, Stephanie over there in Rumble. Hey, City Mouse.
I want to thank my family, my kids, my grandchildren, the Paxton Patriots, and every single person here today. Without your love, your support, and your prayers, we would not be here tonight celebrating this incredible victory. I'd also like to thank all of the grassroots, local, state, and national leaders who supported this campaign, including Congressman Brandon Gilth, who just spoke, Lance Gooden, Congressman Nels, Congressman Wesley Hunt, and Congressman Ronnie Jackson. I'd also like to thank Scott Pressler.
Hey, Deanna, good morning.
And Turning Point Action for their endorsements. And then there's one person who I think you might know, President Donald J. Trump. When everyone in Washington told him to abandon me and abandon the people of Texas, he didn't listen. Instead, he gave his complete and total endorsement. President Trump is the leader of our party, and his endorsement in this is the most powerful force in politics. And I'm honored to have his support, and I look forward to working with him in the Senate to deliver for Texas. Tonight, we just sent a Texas.
Look at those numbers, 568,000 to 334,000. That's huge.
March, and I'll say it again now. Today, change was on the ballot, and change won. Let me be clear, this is not just my win, this is your win. We just proved that this Senate seat doesn't belong to Washington. It belongs to you, the hardworking men and women of this state. We went up against $150 million in all the attacks in the world, and you know what happened? The voters declared loud and clear a simple truth that we know in our hearts and in our souls: Texas is not for sale.
So, guys, again, listen to your president. Don't listen to all these talking heads that think they know more, or these supposed MAGA first candidates that are like, oh, MAGA, 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 MAGA. Trump knows their backgrounds. Trump knows the circle that they run around in, and they pull at your heartstrings, but unfortunately, they're not part of the plan. And we have to move on from these people. And we have to keep our sights on what President Trump wants us to do, not what the influencers want us to do, not even what the anons want us to do. We have to listen to President Trump and trust your president, just like Julie Donuts always says. So, guys, real quick, if you're watching me for the first time, please hit that like and subscribe to my channel. I would very, very much appreciate that on whatever platform you're on: YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, X, Pilled, whatever the case may be. So if you could take just a moment to hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel, I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get back into the news, because we're almost done with the news. Then we want to go into some decodes. So right here, let's get into some Tulsi news, because I know this happened a couple of days ago. I haven't had a chance to speak on it yet. Tulsi Gabbard is about to drop nuke bombs on her way out the door. Word is she's preparing to expose the stolen 2020 election and the Democrats' attempt to steal the 2016 election too. Think Crossfire Hurricane on that. Tulsi about to blow up the Democrat Party's lies for good in her final acts as DNI. This could be massive.
Made a comment at a cabinet secretary meeting that has stuck with our audience, and they'd really love an update on it. And it's about the 2020 election. And you were talking about the security of that election, and you were telling President Trump that there has been evidence that has been uncovered of potential breaches. I'm not exactly certain, but I'd love a follow-up on this. Here's the moment right here, and perhaps do you have any updates on the 2020 election or anything that you've found, Director?
The point that I was making there in the cabinet meeting was early discovery that I had seen from a whistleblower who came forward, who was working under CISA at that time, which is responsible for critical infrastructure and trying to protect against cyber vulnerabilities, critical infrastructure, including, of course, the integrity of our election systems. And what was interesting was seeing how this whistleblower brought forward information that CISA at that time, the federal government, was aware of vulnerabilities in our election machines, but they chose not to disclose that information to the American people or to the administration at that time. This is an area, of course, of critical importance, once again, for the American people to have faith in the integrity of our elections, and that it is their voice that is heard through these elections. We're continuing to investigate this, and when we have information that we're ready to release, you'll hear about it.
Okay, so we're going to be hearing more on the 2020 election and some critical vulnerabilities.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Tulsi's going to be dropping some bombs. What happens if the NSA accidentally releases it all? Tulsi's over the NSA. The NSA still has a temp director in it. POTUS 2 refuses to formally nominate? What if Tulsi says, hey, NSA, go ahead and release everything we've got on the 2020 election? Whoops. It's out there now. Tulsi has till June 1st. And June 30th. Correction, June 30th. Man, it's going to be a hot summer. June 30th is an eternity in politics. We're fixing to drop some bombs, people. Tulsi's going to drop bombs on the way out. Then she's going to hand it over to a temporary patriot where optics don't matter for this patriot to continue on starting in July. Yeah, Cynthia says, pray for her husband to overcome this illness that is hitting many Americans. Yes, I totally agree with that. Joshua Reed reports, sounds like a storm is coming. Let's watch this quick clip.
The president will host his cabinet at Camp David tomorrow for a high-level meeting. Though the White House confirmed the gathering, no additional details have been offered, and we will bring you any information as soon as things come in.
Now, I did catch this morning that POTUS has canceled the Camp David meeting, and they're actually going to be meeting in the White House. I'm sure it's for the Iran situation and everything that's going on. They're probably getting all their ducks in a row and everything. I do believe that they've probably got a deal hammered out on that. So we'll keep an eye on that as that situation develops in Truth or Media. I know if anything develops on it by noon, that Steve Real AF Patriot will probably catch it on Keeping It Real at noon. So let's go on. That's all the kind of the news that I have. Let's go on to some digs, and let's go on to my fellow Truth or Media Patriots. I've got something from Julie Donuts here at the end. I've got some decodes that I kind of want to go over a little bit. So everybody's always like, is Elon part of the plan? Well, let's take a look at a couple of things, okay? Who bought Twitter? Elon. With the help of who? Alaweed in Saudi Arabia. Alaweed was, remember what happened in Saudi Arabia will happen here. They rounded up all their officials over there that were dirty. Alaweed cut a deal, though. Who owns the majority of Twitter shares? Alaweed. Who helped Elon purchase Twitter? Alaweed did. What did Twitter X do for the 2024 election? It gave us our voices back. Part of the plan? Elon looks at his phone 9 o'clock on election night, pulls it out, and says, Trump won. Everybody's like, how do you know that? I know. Trump won. November 4th, Elon posts a saying that says, on 11/4, the day before the election, on 2024, you can go look this up yourself. Just go to his profile and search Warlock. Warlock shield activated. Q post. No rigging blackmail this time. Wizards and Warlocks. Q. And in case you missed it, he posted this back into November 22nd, 2023. I said, he knows. Q star anon. And he didn't put those together. Okay, there's a reason that he didn't put those together. Q post 4881. There is Q, number 1. There are anons, number 2. There is no QAnon, number 3. Because, the media always likes to say QAnon, 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 QAnon. What the hell is QAnon? I've never heard of QAnon. There's Q, and there's anons. So before I read the rest of this, Q star anon. I said, he knows. Media labeling as QAnon is a method to deliberate to combine attach Q to comments, theories, suggestions, statements, and actions made by two, which is anons. What happens when you cannot attack the information? Primary source number one is Q. Do you attack in typecast through the use of others? Remember, not all anons are authentic. Injected. You're correct, CJ. Retweet at 1717 had meaning mathematical probability 1717 the day after. Do you believe it was coincidence surgical removal of YouTube accounts occurred the same day as Hunter Drop? Welcome to the digital battlefield. Q. So, what Q was trying to tell us is that QAnon is the media's boogeyman. Okay? They use that word to label us as radicals. And usually people that use the term QAnon still are these way out there off the wall people that, guys, I hate to tell you, if you believe in the Galactic Federation out there and stuff like that, you got a long way to go still. you got a little bit more research to do. And that's why that Q says, do you attack and typecast through the use of others? So people that still use this term QAnon, be if they're new into the movement, I get it. But if you've got some old vets out there still telling themselves QAnon and things like that, question that message a little bit, because we debunked this on 10/17/2020 on what QAnon really means. All right, so let's move on. So President Trump posts this meme. Stay with me, deplorables. You'll love how this movie ends. Now, I know a lot of the movie people out there are losing their minds going, see, he's telling you it's a movie. Well, in a movie, there's a plot and there's moves and counter moves. I am not one of these people that believes that everything is a movie and everything is scripted out. Q even says the war is real. The news is fake. Okay? So let's stay on planet Earth a little bit. Q post 4095. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Stay with me, deplorables. You'll love how this movie ends. And it's signed Q+. What is Q+, you say? If you're joining us for the first time or you're kind of new to this Q thing. So if you go look on a phone, on the 0, there's a little plus. That when you push 0, it means plus when you're trying to do dial tones and things like that. So back in 2000, I believe it was 18, Air Force One went in the air and the call sign was Q0. So we started digging. We were like, what the heck is Q0? And then Q+ showed up on the boards. And Q verified Q+ is POTUS. POTUS directly communicated with the Anons on the boards, and those drops were labeled Q+. And I'm going to go into some further verification here in just a little bit on what Q+ is. So when you see on the boards Q+, just know that it is President Trump that was communicating directly to the Anons out there. Department of War CTO comes in and says, good morning. Patriots are in control, locked in. And again, I know all the movie people are out there saying, oh, look, Patriots in control. But if you go look at the Patriots in control on the Q board, you come up with this post right here. Hey, Debbie Foyle, thank you for checking in on X. Found your live. Thank you for your discernment. No, thank you for checking in and watching my show. I very, very much appreciate that. So Q post 1306. Define the terms of the Iran nuclear deal. What are we talking about right now, people? Iran. What are we talking about right now? Uranium 1. Does the agreement define and confine cease and desist pro to the Republic of Iran? What if Iran created a classified satellite nuclear facility in northern Syria? We've seen attacks in Syria going on lately, haven't we? What if programs never ceased? What did other bad actors possibly, and what other bad actors are possibly involved? Did the U.S. know? Where did the cash payments go to? And let's think about the end of Obama's second term. You remember the cash payments that went and on these pallets? POTUS has been hammering to us over and over and over and over and over on True Social that these pallets of cash went over to Iran. Repayment for what? How many planes were delivered? Did all the planes land in the same location? Where did the uranium-1 materials end up? If you don't know what uranium-1 is, please go check out Freedom Fire's page on her uranium-1 article. She explains it all. Is this material traceable? Yes. Define cover. What if uranium-1 material ended up in Syria? What would be the primary purpose? Sum of all fears. If you haven't watched that movie, I suggest you go watch it. In the movie, where did the materials come from? What country? What would happen if Russia or other foreign states supplied uranium to Iran/Syria? War. Who, backing up, I'm not reading off the Q post here, right here. Who orchestrated uranium-1? The Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham Clinton, under whose administration? Barack Hussein Obama. What is POTUS demanding that we have right now? The nuclear dust from Iran. Why does he want it so bad? Why does he want this dust so bad? Well, there's only a reason why you'd want uranium dust, people. It's to test it. Because if you don't know, all nuclear material is kind of like tagged in its structure, and we know exactly where it comes from. What does uranium-1 provide? Define cover. Why did we strike Syria? Why did we really strike Syria? Define cover. Patriots in control. Q. And a lot of the Anons out there just want to say, yep, Patriots in control. Look at that. Well, there's a reason why this nomenclature is used by these accounts. They want us to go back to the boards and they want us researching these keywords. News unlocks the map. It's not just to tell everybody everything's a movie. It's to tell you the playbook that's fixing to come up to be revealed. And that we have to educate on and be ready to disseminate this information when it does hit the airwaves. We have to be able to tell the story of what happened. And why that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are going to be implicated when this nuclear dust comes back to the United States and we say, wait a minute. This uranium, it came from the United States. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you how it's possible. Hillary Clinton crafted this deal called Uranium-1 and approved it through her State Department. And guess where it went? It got through Canada, and then it went over to Russia, and then it went to Syria, and then it went to Iran. Did they know where it would go? Patriots in control. Q. Real Donald Trump posts this on True Social. There's a timestamp of 6:02 a.m. Mine shows 5:02 because I am in Central Time. And you see right there, it says, game over, deep state. Remember, this is President Donald J. Trump's Truth Social account. And what do we see here? This is where that link takes you that President Trump posted to Spiritual Street Fighter's meme that says, game over, deep state. And there's a huge Q right there. What is on President Trump's lapel? Remember us talking about Q+? What's on his lapel? You probably can't see it because it's too small to see, but if you're on the TV, you can probably see it. Q+. Let's look at the timestamp of this 6:02 a.m. post. So we go to the boards and we type in 6:02. It comes to this link to a YouTube video. Now remember what he's saying. Game over, deep state. So let's watch this clip from this link.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another 4-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals. Remember that. This is well documented. And the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Game over, Deep State. Q plus. Gives me chills every time I watch that. So remember, these comms, if you keep track of them, all build on one another. You know, you go back to Patriots in Control, what we just read, right through here, Uranium One. Who orchestrated it? Hillary Clinton. Where do all roads lead? That President Trump says. Barack Hussein Obama. They're not the total head of the snake, and I get it. That's London. I know that. Okay? But we have to start somewhere. And what did they do to try to cover up Uranium One? They tried to cover it up through FISA-gate, through Crossfire Hurricane. It's all connected, people. Every single bit of it is connected. The plan is connected. The Apprentice, we talked about that earlier, about how that put Donald Trump in everybody's television across America and got him across the world recognition. There's a plan out there, people. Patriots are in control. When you have all the information, you can control just about everything with the release of the information. Moves and counter moves. So last thing, and then we'll end in prayer. Julia Donut says, I will never turn on my president. What he is doing is way bigger than anyone could ever imagine. And let's watch this donut drop from Julie Donuts.
Welcome to Donut Drops with Julie. I will never turn on my president, Donald J. Trump. Some say I'm in a cult. If saving our country from these globalist monsters and all of their puppets is a cult, count me in for life. I see exactly what he's up against. I see exactly that not everything is on the surface. I know there is a plan for a long time plan. I see the paid influencers that turned, or did they really turn? Were they always put there? They built a following of supporting President Trump, and now they're doing their best to pull you into doom, negativity, and doubt. They play on people's personal situations and ramp up their anger with their highly emotional rants. Complaining about gas prices, saying he started a war with Iran, saying he didn't keep his promises, saying he's owned by someone or some country, still saying he's on the list, whining about anything they don't see happening yet, mocking Q followers. Notice these people don't go over the unprecedented things he has already done for years now, laying the foundation, removing, changing, and exposing. Almost daily now, we see children saved, massive and continuous arrests of criminals, daily deportations, a sealed border, $20 trillion in manufacturing deals, energy independence, removed us from global entities, the biggest tax breaks in history. He stopped the DEI garbage in our military, made our military the strongest and most lethal ever, protecting America from any nuclear threats. He's exposing and stopping the most unbelievable fraud in every government entity. He greatly reduced inflation. More people are employed than any other time in history, and the safest our country has ever been, with the lowest crime rate. He brought manufacturing back to America and opened up our pipelines. He brought pharmaceutical prices down to the lowest ever. He made hospitals be transparent with prices and procedures. Slowly exposing the dangers of vaccines, he removed harmful dyes from our food. He started the real gold standard science for medicines and vaccines. He put out several EOs and actions for election integrity. I could go on and on with over 250 executive orders and actions to put America first, but I digress for time's sake for this video. The most transparent administration ever, the hardest working man on the planet, and he does it for free. He told us in 2016 he would eradicate the deep state, and it's up to us to understand how complex, serious, and dangerous this unprecedented journey really is. Everything is timing. I will never back down. I will never give up. Those who understand this war will keep moving forward with unwavering faith and know we already won and there will be justice for all. Trust your president. Stay in prayer with no fear. Be locked in. God bless America and God bless our amazing President Donald J. Trump. We love you.
The global financial reset you've
Great donut drop, Julie. And you said what needed to be said, because people so forget that everything he's done for us, all they want to see are these temporary high gas prices right now. The deep state is going to, TRT Global said, I'm fired up. Let's go. Absolutely. Let's go. But, that's going to be a lot of what you guys have to push against out there is the high prices, the high grocery prices. I get it. But you have to remember, Trump doesn't control everything out there. He has all the information, but he doesn't quite control it. The battle still rages on. These companies are not going to give him wins through prices unless they absolutely have to. And remember, Kevin Warsh is coming in now. What are we going to see? Rate decreases. What's that going to do? That's going to lower prices on everything. So let's hang in there. Let's get this Iran conflict behind us. Let's get the Ukrainian war behind us. I know we've probably got Cuba and Taiwan coming up on our sights, but we've got to support our president through all of this. When our friends are contacting us saying, what is President Trump doing right now? That's where we come in. That's where the digital soldiers come in, is being able to try to guide and explain everything that's going on through this plan to keep everybody calm. We are the calm in the storm. Remember that. Yeah, Yeet Force says Kevin is going to change everything. Absolutely. And Sienna, good morning over there on X. Monica Rodriguez says on YouTube, trust POTUS 100%. Guys, he brought us to the show. If you can't see that this was a multi-year operation, that we're coming kind of to the end of it a little bit, people, I don't know what to tell you. But I think that most of my viewers see it. But for everybody that's kind of joining us out there for the very first time, you know, over in the chats or wherever, even if you're lurking or you're watching me on replay, I think you're starting to see it just a little bit, how everything is connected. So what we're going to be doing is, after I pray, we're going to be raiding over to the Real AF Patriots channel on Rumble for Keeping It Real for episode 79. And he's going to have some of the more current news, because I kind of bring you yesterday's news that happens in a roundup. He's more of your current news guy. And so you always want to join him at noon. I know it's a little early to raid over to him, but just go ahead and give him that thumbs up and come back at noon to watch him. He kind of starts at 11:45 playing some music. So if you guys want to hop in the chat and kind of chat with each other and say hey and stuff before he starts, it's a great, great way to do it. So guys, welcome to the digital battlefield. You see why Q said this is the digital battlefield now? And we also have to be on the real battlefield too. So you can't just kind of stay on True Social all the time and live in your little comfy place, because you're really not doing anything for the movement. I hate to tell you that, but you got to get out on the battlefield a little bit, whether it be Facebook, X, whatever, normal life, water cooler talks, you know, pushing against that agenda and all these talking points by the MSM. That's why we do it. That's because we support our president, and he needs us right now. He needs our help. So when we're out there second guessing him and saying, oh, he's controlled by Israel, I mean, what does that do for the movement? I think he's proven enough that he is not controlled at all. But there's a method to his madness. And sometimes he likes to create chaos to sort out the wheat from the chaff. So you got to remember that. And also, real quick, that if you're over on one of our platforms that is not Rumble, and you're like, well, I want to see a show, I can't get rated over there, just go to truthermedia.com and scroll to our show schedule right there. It's interactive, and you can see where you need to go. You can see the little blocks. You can see right there in the middle, it says Keeping It Real. You can just go to the Wednesday grid right there and click on it, and it will take you to his channel. And you can also find all of our channels on truthermedia.com. But if you're a big fan of Tracing Justice, make sure you check us out on tracingjustice.com. We have the links to all of our sponsors there, where you can get great deals. And don't forget, guys, this episode was brought to you by justiceshrooms.com and justicepetclub.com. So if you want to turn off you and your pet's check engine lights that we talked about the other night on Tracing Justice and get your body back into balance, go to justiceshrooms.com for you and go to justicepetclub.com for your little furry friends. So guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. So I'm going to end us in prayer. Lord, I come to you in Jesus' name, Lord. Hallowed be thy name, Lord. Thank you for opening up the scales on our eyes early so we can see everything that is going on, and we can try to guide people through this turmoil right now that we're experiencing in our country. Because Lord, I know that we're going through your reset, Lord. And sometimes resets are kind of painful sometimes. because we're going from one control structure to the other. And sometimes it's not pleasant, but sometimes we have to walk through the darkness to get to the light, Lord. And everybody has to see what's going on to affect everlasting change. And I thank you, Lord, for everybody's eyes that you are opening, Lord. And Lord, I also thank you for sending your Son to die on the cross for all of our sins, because without that, we would have nothing, Lord. We would have no path to glory, Lord. We would still be fighting with these old laws that we never really could live up to, Lord, because we're all sinners, except for the one person that you sent to die on the cross for our sins, and that's Jesus Christ, Lord. And through him, we come to know you, Lord. So thank you again. And I pray for everybody out there that has needs that need to be met. I ask that you reach down and you help those in need, Lord. And I thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. for Dawning Justice. So make sure, don't forget, keeping it real at noon with the real AF Patriot. And I've told you where to find him. Just go to truthermedia.com. And if you're on Rumble, I'm going to be raiding you over there so you can find it. And guys, let's go make fishers of men. Let's go save some souls. Okay. And let's go save the Republic. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you.
You thought you could bury me. Thought the dark were closing. You were wrong. You don't know who I am. And you never will. You drew the line in the dirt and flame. They said I'd break, said I'd shame. Whispered threats through a locked back door. But I've heard sound before. You pushed and pulled, tried to crack my back, but I don't collapse like that. I don't run, I don't bend, I don't bow to fear of men. When the dust clears, you'll see you never buried me. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard, not just whispered in time. You can't stop this, we will not fall. When justice rises, it answers the call. You thought you knew what I stood on, but this ground's been here too long. Stealing the blood, fire and breath. I don't scare easy at talk of death. You don't know the weight I carry, or the hand that stands behind me. You can shout, you can lie, try to crucify, but chains you swing and stones you throw only make the pressure grow. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard in its own time. You can't stop us, we will not fall. Justice is coming, and it's coming for all. You thought you could take me down. You don't know who I am. I don't stand alone. God holds my sword of truth. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard, this is our time. You can't us back.